Hi guys, so it's been a while since I made a YouTube video, so I figured I would go ahead and make one on my personal experience and review of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and then we're also going to talk about uh, Zelda Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. So, Zelda Breath of the Wild, as many of you may know, came out in 2017. It is a game that I did have originally when I got a Switch for the first time a couple years back. I only played a very little bit of the game. I do like Zelda. I started playing Zelda with the first one on the Nintendo, and I think I played like Link, something about a Link to the Past or something like that. Anyways, I played a few of them, and so I really wanted to give this another shot. It's been a few years, obviously. 4 years ago, this game came out. So, definitely a great game. I have the DLC as well. I didn't do too much of that, but overall, I found the game pretty enjoyable. The puzzles aren't too bad. Some of them were a little bit tricky, and I did use some online guides for it and stuff. So, if this isn't a game that you've went back and played or finished, I would highly recommend it. It is very rewarding. The story's pretty good. Having to fight the different beasts to then unlock and be able to fight Ganon the final time is pretty good as well. It's definitely challenging. I will say there's a lot of challenges and sometimes frustrations. Overall, I ended up putting in 75 hours into this game total for all the stuff I was doing. I actually also have some of these NFC cards that I got that kind of gave me advantage, mainly for food. Really, I mean, cooking is definitely going to help you out in this game. Being able to cook meals and stuff. Not really for, I didn't really use it for the benefits like for cold resistance and heat resistance and that sort of stuff too often. Mainly for when I was going to have big fights, like with the Divine Beasts and those sort of things. I know with Ganon, I ended up making up like 3 pages full of food. Like that was or meals, I should say. That was the maximum you could do. So, yeah, that really helped me out because getting the Master Sword, me and another guy, we did use the glitch for that. So that was kind of nice to do that and be able to get the Master Sword a little bit early. I think at the time I only had 11 hearts and you need 13. But then I did get all the hearts and went to try and do the Master Sword quest, not realizing how involved that was. That's a very involved quest. Didn't finish it because I would die. Then you have to start all the way at the beginning of that little Master Sword test thing. So, like I said, I would highly recommend if you have not played this game to give it a try. And we're just going to go ahead and quit out of this one real quick. And then we're going to go over to Zelda Skyward Sword HD. So this game originally came out on the Wii or Wii U. I forget which one exactly. I feel like it's the Wii U. But it's probably the Wii. But it's 2011 for that game. This is one I never played, at least I remember. I almost feel like I played a demo of it because I do remember the whole sky area where you're at and everything with the bird and stuff like that, but I never really played much of it. So, my thoughts of it on the Switch. So, I have played a little bit of the game, probably a few hours. I believe I beat the first guy in the temple. I'm actually in the lava area now. I don't remember what they call it. But the big thing with the Switch is, while it does have motion controls. Hold on, sorry about that, guys. While it does have motion controls, I find it to be kind of difficult to use. Because the fighting part, as far as swinging the sword with the motion control, definitely way easier in my opinion than having to use the Joy-Con. And the part I ran into trouble with, there's these different times where you got to walk across the rope, so you have to balance back and forth on it. So you hold the Joy-Cons like this, you're supposed to twist your hand like that to kind of get the balance. I can't get it to work very well. I'd always fall on the rope, grab hold of it, either fall off or have to get back up on the rope and never be able to get very far. So I don't know if I'm just not understanding the correct way to do it, but it seems pretty self-explanatory. So that part is definitely frustrating. So there's been times where I've switched from just button controls to motion controls on the Switch. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on this game. I think they could have done much better as far as the way the controls work, especially with the camera. So when you're in motion control mode, the camera being able to look around, which I heard was not an original thing on the 2011 release on the Wii systems, you can look around pretty easily with the right Joy-Con, because I'm pretty sure most of us are pretty used to, on most systems, when you can look around with a camera, you use the right joystick or thumbstick. So that works well. But when you're on the button controls, you have to hold the left shoulder button and the right joy thumbstick. So the problem with that is I'm not used to doing it that way. It's kind of feels weird. Like I'm kind of getting used to it, but not as much as I thought I would be able to. So a lot of times the right thumbstick actually controls your sword and you swinging that around and stuff. So a lot of times I'll look around, and then my guy's like, and brings out the sword, and that causes problems, obviously. So it's a minor thing, I'm sure, for some of you, but it's one of those features I feel like they could have very easily modified to make it work a little bit better. I know that they're limited with the controls because the different angles and such that you have to swing the sword. I don't know. I just feel like there was a better way to control the cameras when you're in button controller only mode. So, but overall, I mean, it's not been a horrible game. It's just one of those things where how you're used to controlling things, especially if you just come off of playing Breath of the Wild like I did, it's definitely challenging to get used to the way the controls work on it. I do like certain aspects, like the beetle that you can unlock. That's what I'm calling it. It's like a beetle slash scarab in the first temple, and that's kind of nice because there was stuff way up there that I was like, how the hell are you going to get that? And you actually use that, and then he flies around, and you can collect hearts and gems and rupees, all sorts of stuff like that, or cut spiders down from hanging on the web. So hasn't been as many things I've had to look up thus far on this one, as far as how to do certain tasks and items. So that's definitely a good thing. But yeah, I mean, if you really like the Zelda series, if you remember playing this one, or maybe you just want to check it out, it may not be a bad one to pick up. I mean, the graphics aren't horrible. It's HD, so that kind of helps with that. But I'm definitely looking forward to Breath of the Wild too. I'd be interested to see what your guys' thoughts are on Skyward Sword and Skyward Sword HD, if you've picked that up, and if you've ever finished regular Breath of the Wild. I didn't 100% that. I did a couple things after the fact, but I probably won't go back to that anytime soon to work on that more with all the time already spent in it. Also, too, I'm kind of curious if you guys are going to be pre-ordering Breath of the Wild 2, if you already have plans to get that whenever it comes out. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon. That way you guys can see when I put new content up on the channel. I am trying to get some more on here. I mainly stream live on various services right now. I'm currently streaming live on Twitch, so you can catch me there at twitch.tv/cheesyjokester, spelled the same way as on here, CHEEZY, and then Jokester. Come check out my live streams. I'm on there quite often. Unfortunately, that makes this channel suffer a little bit because I don't put up as much video content as I did in the past, but I am planning to do that. Let me know too if there's certain things you guys would like to see me talk about. I am planning to do an updated room tour because I have had some things updated and changed as of late. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope to hear your comments on the Zelda series and these two games specifically. I know there's the one, I know I'm going to mess up their Ocarina of Time, I think is what I always hear about. So I did test out on a emulator on the N64 side. It's blocky, it's an N64 game. But I didn't play much of it, so that might be something too I go back and take a look at. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end it here, guys. Have a good day, and I will catch you the next time.